Hey there, thanks for joining me today. This is Laura Lynn with Keep Inking Up. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! In San Antonio, Texas. And last week I posted this cute little treat bag on my social media, and a few of my followers asked that I go ahead and make a video on how I made it. Now I'm not going to make this exact same one, but I am going to show you how to make a treat bag out of an envelope. Can you believe this was made out of an envelope? This was from the January 2022 Paper Pumpkin by Stampin' Up! So I used the pieces and parts out of that. The Happy Galentine's Day is actually a retired stamp set, but I made these for my daughter to give to her roommate, so I thought the Galentine's Day was appropriate for that. So anyway, this video is just to share how to make this treat bag out of an envelope, and I'll show you. It's a pretty good size treat bag. I put in here for her roommates a mini hand sanitizer and some chocolates. So it's a pretty good sized treat bag that you can put quite a bit in. And I just closed it with a clip that I had and decorated. So let me set that aside and we'll get started. I'm going to today use just a regular envelope. That's what this was made out of, just a regular envelope from the Paper Pumpkin kit, but this is a very vanilla envelope. It's an A2 size envelope. You could do this with any size envelope that you have. They'll just change the look of the final treat bag. But this is just a regular A2 size envelope. But the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of glue. I'm going to close up the bag. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue here along the top here, and let's see, we'll put it here and here. And then I am going to use a water painter to put water on the flap so I don't have to lick it. I don't like to lick my envelope, so this is what I do. Use my water painter with water, and then I'm going to close that up. So I'm going to seal up the envelope. That's step one, seal up the envelope. And I added the glue on there to make it nice and closed. Now, if you want to decorate the envelope like I did here with the stamping, now's the time to do that. But I wanted to try to keep this video as short as possible, so I'm not going to decorate it. So after you would stamp it to decorate it, then you're going to want to cut off one of the short ends. That'll be the top of your bag. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer here, and I'm just going to slice off just a little bit so you have an opening for your bag. And then while I have my trimmer here, I'm going to go ahead and do the next step, which is to score the opposite three, or the other three sides from the one that you cut at 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to slide that there, and I'm going to use my scoring blade, and I'm going to score that. I'm going a couple of times because I'm going through a couple of layers of the envelope. Then I'm going to rotate it and do 3/4 of an inch for the bottom. Then I'll rotate it again and do 3/4 of an inch for the other side. Then I'll put this out of the way. And next I'm going to bring in my bone folder, and I'm going to burnish all of those score lines really well. And I'm actually going to burnish them in both directions to help me manipulate those pieces later when I form the bag, form the treat bag. So I'm going to do that on all of the scores. Both directions. Sometimes it gets a little difficult. It is bulky. It is going through multiple layers. And especially I noticed on the sides where the flap is, it gets a little touchy. So we just do the best you can at getting those score lines folded. That one's a little rough. You can see on whenever I come to the flap, I have a little bit of difficulty. So next, I'm going to open up the bag, try to stick my hand in it. And I don't know how to describe this, but I'm pinching these corners into a little triangle. Can you see that? I'm going to do that on both sides. Oops. My sleeve is giving me trouble here. and I want to make a little triangle where all of those score lines meet. So hopefully you can see that. It looks like little ears. And I'm going to go ahead and bring my bone folder in and really burnish those folds that I made. And that creates the bottom of the bag. I'm just going to manipulate some of these folds to help. You can kind of see the bag coming together, but I need to bring these flaps to the bottom, and I'm going to use, let me find my tear and tape. You need a really strong adhesive. You could use liquid glue if you wanted to, but that takes a little bit longer to dry. So I'm just going to use tear and tape. So I'm just going to tear off a piece there, and another little piece you want to add. This is the bottom of the bag, so I'm trying to make it as strong as possible. And I'm going to add the same on the other. Oops. Same on the other tab. Oh, I lost my end here. Sorry if I'm off camera. There we go. I'm going to burnish that tear and tape in really well. And then I'm going to use my take your pick tool in the poker end here, and to help me lift off the paper backing. If you do go over the edge like I did with the tape, it's not a big deal. You can just fold that tape back on itself. I'm going to go ahead and take off all the paper backings at one time before I stick everything together. Okay, so I fold that back on itself. Now I'll stick my hand back in there if I can, and push these tabs down to create the bottom of the bag. And now that's good and strong. And now this is the back side where you have the flap. So you can fold in the sides. I like to fold down the top to close the bag. And there you have your cute little treat bag made out of an envelope. Now, you may be wondering, is there a magic dimension with that 3/4 of an inch? And it's not. You could use any dimension that you want. I do have a couple of samples that I used. This particular bag, it's a little bit different size. You can see it's wider, it's more narrow. I used 1/2 inch. But I will say with 1/2 inch, you can see this is very ugly on the bottom. I had a really difficult time folding that, and I'm not sure exactly what the reasoning is. It may have been this particular material on the envelope that I was using, but I really struggled with making that bottom. But it's the same process, but I just used 1/2 inch for my score lines rather than the 3/4 of an inch. I also did another one that used 1 inch, and I kind of like this one, but it's a different size. It seems kind of wide, but it would hold a lot of nice treats as well. But I think that after making a couple of these, that I still really like the dimensions of the envelope with the 3/4 inch. I just think that's a really nice size treat bag. But I just wanted to share how to make the treat bag out of an envelope. I hope you found these instructions very easy to follow, and will give it a try and make some treat bags yourself. Be great for Valentine's Day, great for birthday party favors. If you have birthday parties coming up, they're not too big, so they hold a nice amount of little treat, not too much, not too little. So anyway, I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.